Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's the season finale of Queens Season 1. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I keep all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. We pick up right where we left off. Naomi starting off a freestyle to get creative minds flowing. Each person reflects on growth, life lessons, and plans for the future. Jojo is surprised that her dad is up before her, but he has plans. He's going to ask Naomi to marry him. Solo tours, are they really ready to do it? There's so much going on with the label. Lauren is starting her college tour soon, and Val thinks it feels off to do her tour when the queens couldn't have their own. She even hears the comments that people say about her, that I can't rap and I'm about to go on tour without the people who got me there. Jill and Naomi can't believe this new Val who has this self-humility and awareness. She did the hard work, and she's going to represent Nasty Girl Records. Val updates that her marriage with Thomas was short-lived. She doesn't want kids, but she knew deep down inside Thomas did want them. They talked, they cried, but she didn't want to live with any guilt. Eric talks to Jojo, and they're both excited. Jojo thinks as long as her mom is happy, she's happy. The plan is dinner, a nice walk, then popping the big question. Lauren is a little disappointed. Only 20 people showed up to her first college show, but some students applaud her new message, especially the ones about the judicial system. They invite her to coffee to talk about the issues, but Lauren is resistant. They then challenge her notions. Does she really want change? Or is she just gonna talk about it? Naomi loves how Eric is being extra romantic tonight, but Eric says that he's just treating her well and having fun. It's chilly outside, so Naomi asks if she can wear his jacket, but he wants to ask her something first. He begins to tell her how much he loves her, but Jojo calls several times in a row. It must be an emergency. They hurry home, and Jojo said someone approached her when she came home with documentation. He says that he's a process server. Eric is confused as to what's going on. Naomi says that it's Cam. He's petitioning to establish paternity. Why should we do this now? Naomi says her and Cam were always friends, but there was a night when her and Eric had an argument, so she went to Cam. She told Cam she thought Eric was the dad, but we see now Cam wants proof. Eric is upset and sad at the same time. He said, I would say everything will be okay, but I'm not so sure about that. Lauren was studying for the bar, but never took it. What she figured was to just change her flow up and reach more people, but she has no audience now. The students understand how she feels. Now they're focused on death penalties, trying to get dates changed so they can get new trials. Celebs help with awareness, and Lauren wants to help but doesn't know much about the death penalty. She raps about non-violent drug crimes. They have info on Ronnie Mills, a 28-year-old from Las Vegas convicted of murder at 18 when he shot a man at the mall. He claims it was self-defense. The jury said it was premeditated. His execution is next week. They want Lauren to use her celebrity to help. Is he guilty, Lauren wants to know? And they encourage her to ask him herself. Maybe he's trying to get back with you, Jill says. I mean, that's the only thing that can make sense or why he even brought it up. Naomi doesn't know what to do. When I called Cam, he said, let the lawyers handle it, and Jojo won't even talk to me. Lauren breaks it down to Jojo. You don't have to go through with it. You're not a minor, and you don't have to agree to a test. Jojo does have some curiosity, though. Val wants Eric to understand that whatever happens is meant to be. They can choose to keep going as they are or make changes to get what they really want. Lauren finds out that Eric was going to propose and was super excited. It's up to Jojo to know what's next. Val encourages support to Jojo in her decision and whatever she decides to do. Lauren wants to assist an advocacy group with the case. She's been researching the death penalty. Ronnie's attorney was disbarred 10 months after the trial. He didn't call two witnesses whose stories were contradictory. That alone is enough for an appeal. Is it worth to take what's left of my career to help a convicted felon? Jill says if you could do something and didn't, wouldn't that be worse? Eric got a call from Chuck D. He's on the board of the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. He wants to induct the Nasty Bees. There's only one female hip-hop group to sell 4 million records. They wanted to induct on the rise of all of the solo moments. This could bring Brianna home. Naomi sends a text to Bree. She's in. Lauren speaks with Ronnie, and he jokes about how no one exactly knows what to say when they visit him. They mostly say things that they've seen on Law & Order, but he prefers anime. He knows why she's there. Danica sent her, and he's no one's mascot for a pitch or a statement. His execution is in 150 hours. He is excited to speak with Lauren and people in general. For over 9 years, he hoped someone would see the truth, and that just made the nights darker and his cell smaller. Now he just sleeps. No expectations. It's just peaceful without it. Lauren only wants to know one thing. Was it self-defense? And he says yes. And he's not up for a fight. The next fight should be for the next person that sits in his seat. Paparazzi swarm Lauren, asking how was her meeting and will she be partitioning the governor? She takes a pause and then responds. In 2022, a child can be convicted of murder with spotty evidence and sentenced to death. Ronnie's fate may be settled, but the world needs to see his face and needs to know his story so we can all see the cost of the laws that we blindly support. That's what I'm gonna commit to. It's nice to slow down and talk. Eric has been very compassionate and understanding. Val jokes that she let the last understanding, compassionate man go because Thomas just got the rest of his things. Eric has news. Bree was on the plane to come, but then she changed her mind and went back. Instead, she wants the rest of the ladies to go ahead without her. Val insists that the ladies should just go ahead. If there's anything that they've learned, it's to value each moment. If Bree gave them the blessing, they should do it. Jojo comes down to tell Eric that she appreciates him, everything that he's done, him being supportive, but she feels as if she doesn't know for sure, they'll always wonder. She needs to know. It's an empty night and Naomi can't sleep. She heads to an open mic at a bar, venting words of how she begs for another day after all of the pain. Lauren calls around for people not to make an appearance, but at least tweet about Ronnie Mills, the first person to be executed in Nevada in 15 years. Jojo submits a sample of DNA for testing. Lauren even makes the news, discussing Ronnie's case. She explains that I'm not a lawyer, but anybody can see that with this evidence, putting this man to death without a new trial wouldn't make any sense. She wants a meeting with the governor of Nevada so he can review the facts himself. #Justice for Ronnie is trending on Twitter. They only have 4 days left. Lauren is focused on making more calls. Naomi comes back and to find Jojo on the couch asleep. After kissing her goodnight, Jojo slightly wakes up to hold her hand in support. The governor says that he was elected by the people and wants to review the details of the case. He even calls her to have a personal meeting. Lauren waits and waits and waits, only to be told at the end of the day that he had to leave for an emergency. Lauren sees straight through the BS. He folded to public pressure, then blew me off. Lauren has had it, and she wants to give up. She's frustrated and sad. She tells Jill that I'm worse than when I began, and I can't make money, I don't have anyone to call for help, and Jill wants her to settle down and listen. She wants her to know that if she doesn't help Ronnie, who will? And Lauren tells her, hey, don't put that on me. I just want to go back to when I didn't have to care about anything. Just please leave me alone. Paternity test results come to 2 to 5 days, and Eric presses the urgency that they have to pick somebody to perform along with them at the induction. Lauryn Hill's people have called, and even some new artists are interested. Jill doesn't want someone who's just popular. The Queen's success is based upon chemistry, and that only got stronger over time. Someone, just anyone, can't pop into the Queen's history without earning it. Bree's spot should be family. They speak with Lauren. Lauren helped them when they needed it. She encouraged them to press forward. Now she needs an audience, and here it is. They want to share the stage with her, only if she doesn't give up on Ronnie. And Lauren says she's in. They just need some new choreo. It's crazy what can happen over 20 years. Throughout everything, the queens have maintained their crowns. Several artists give shout outs to the queens and how much they've meant to them. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. Before they can go forward, Bree virtually makes a surprise appearance. They mean the world to her, and in the end, they've always had each other's backs. As the Nasty Bees footage rolls, the lights focus to show Lauren. This is the number of inmates on death row in this country, 2,478. This is the amount murdered in the name of justice, 28 in the past 2 years. Since 1973, 186 former death row prisoners have been exonerated on wrongful convictions, not numbers, people. Ronnie Mills, 28. He's been in jail since the age he was 18 years old. On the set that he's executed in a few days. He deserves to have hope. He is the one that we should keep lifted. Here's the cell phone of the governor of Nevada, Travis Flint, the man who has the power to call off his execution. Call and then call again, and don't stop calling. Let him know we don't execute innocent people. Queens and Lauren perform, and the crowd loves the mixture of the throwback verses along with new hooks and new songs. Jojo gets news on her cell phone that makes Eric smile and hug her backstage. They did it. Eric makes a speech about how his dreams were more than he ever expected. Now he's got a daughter, and he's never letting Naomi go ever again. Naomi, will you marry me? 4 months later, Naomi walks down the aisle, and Eric is blessed to have a family. He promised not to be the man before. Naomi loves his growth, and she's happy she got a second chance in life. She's okay and finally chill with being happy. They've all come so far, and Val is having a successful tour. Jill is signing more talents, and Lauren has news. She got into USC. She wrote an essay about Ronnie's execution date being pushed. They all have each other, and that's what's important. Bree sent a text with just a picture and no words. What's that mean? There's an overhead shot of Madison Square Garden. It's the homecoming. Explicit lyrics, butter pecan, Jill the Thrill, and that is the end of the Queen Season 1 season finale. And now it's time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my review. Before I begin with my final review of this season, I want to thank everyone who rocked with me for all of the recaps and the reviews. I hope that you appreciate all of the hard work in editing and putting everything together for those that aren't able to access the channel and see all of the episodes. It's my pleasure to give you great quality each time. And then also, let's just be real. Some people just don't like sitting through all the commercials. And hey, I don't blame you. So let's talk about this season finale. So I can guess with the writing, there was a little hiccup with fluidity and kind of bringing in Bree's death and all of the real life things that happened, the pandemic and Eve having a baby and spending time with her family. Now, there was an episode where, of course, when Bree got shot and the screen goes black and we hear a heartbeat. So we can conclude that the audience within the show, the queens, the fake audience on the show, could conclude that she was alive but away. It was just a little confusing because the ladies, Naomi, Jill, and everybody else, they had a gravesite. And throughout a couple of the episodes, they said, well, Bree's dead, but not really. It's just us that know she's alive. So that was a little confusing. So I'm guessing with the writing, there was a hiccup there in the continuity of blending that together. It's fine. They went through so much this season. I can't even blame them. One little hiccup, it's okay because they had to start and then stop. And then certain episodes didn't come back until 3 weeks. And then you had the holiday break. It was a lot. And then you had the parameters of filling with the pandemic and all of the other actors and artists having their own schedule and scheduling around that. So with all of that going on, the writers did a wonderful job. And I've mentioned that throughout the reviews. So maybe a lot of people didn't notice that hiccup, but it's fine. I mean, the character, clearly we know in real life, Eve, the real person, had to take a break, be with her family, and that's what's most important. So hey, let's move on. Jojo and the mystery solved. I've said over and over again that was the thing that they were going to save for the season finale. And they did, because it kept people coming back to see, oh my goodness, they've gotten so close. Naomi and Eric, they've created this dynamic. Why would they just, have a heart-wrenching thing at the end of the season? But that's what keeps people coming back. You have to write these series to have people interested in coming back for season 2. Now, Lauren proceeding with school. That's a big step, because you go from being this big time artist, having a lot of money, and then finding something that you're really interested in and that sparks your passion, which is law, which is helping people, which is just totally different. But not exactly, because if you think about Tupac, if you think about Nas, if you think about a lot of artists who blend in not only what's popular at that moment or in that point in time, but always bringing conscious rapping in their lyrics. I mean, it's a big part of what Kendrick Lamar praised with Tupac and his message and who he was, because he always made sure to put in things that made the audience think. So Lauren is mixing her talent with lyrics and being able to rap with things that really, really matter and things that we're dealing with every day, and people turn a blind eye to it. And like she said, or blindly supporting, having no awareness and ignorance in certain issues. So bringing that to the forefront is very important. And a line in the episode that just caught my attention was, she had a totally different way of thinking, a new message, something that's really important, but she didn't have the audience. She didn't have the support. There were only 20 people that showed up at the college show. So that just goes to tell you that a lot of the time, a lot of artists don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They think it's too serious. They don't want to, think about it. And Lauren went through that phase in this episode, but she was just like, I want to go back to not caring. I want to go back to not knowing. Just leave me alone, But she has this gift to quickly absorb information, to understand it, interpret it, and to help other people understand it. And that caused this snowball effect of getting things done. So I like where they're going with Lauren at the end of the season finale. Eric chilling as the manager and Jill stepping in the forefront of finding talent is also interesting, and that's gonna make for an exciting season 2, because if she's taking more of a manager role or stepping in helping Eric with management, with season 2 we can have several journeys of her discovering even more talent. Even though earlier in the season, when she spoke with an artist and she chose to go another route after they did all of that hard work, that can be very entertaining for season 2, because we're going to get to see the ups and downs of management. And we saw a little sprinkle of it with Eric, all the stuff that he's had to go through by himself, and to see that with Jill and all of the stuff that she's been through in the past, that'll be very interesting. Jill seeking the love and compassion. Is she still dealing with her ex-husband and the guilt behind that? That can also be something for season 2. Val's tour, that journey can be for season 2. And her saying, hey, I know that my ex-husband wanted kids. He's saying it's fine, but I know he really does, and I'm just going to live with that guilt. I don't want to do it. I was really hoping in some kind of way they would work it out, but we did kind of have these extra characters that could kind of be moved out of the way. I did mention that earlier in the season, that I hope they're careful in not adding too many people into the slots, like people that, just extra people that could just, Thomas, we really didn't know too much about him. I'm really, really wondering if Thomas is going to come back in season 2 and want some money. Highly likely. We'll see. The season finale, though, I will say, even if it didn't end in the way that you didn't want it to, or you loved it, the main fact is that they gave us closure on a lot of stuff, because a lot of mysteries and a lot of storylines were kind of just dangling in the air. And we were like, okay, are they ever going to talk about Jojo's dad? Are they ever going to talk about this? So I think that's that's all due to, like I said earlier, a lot of the changes with production, the pandemic, Eve, having her baby and being with her family. So that team, once again, salute to them, the writers, the people who have to schedule so much stuff, because you have to remember, Brandy, all of the people who are actors, and, Remy Ma, all of the people that are involved in the show in some type of way, they have stuff going on too. They have shows, they have talk shows that they do. They have podcasts, they have all this stuff. So to keep scheduling with all of that, and then they change, then they had to change it again, and then you had the holiday, and that's a lot. That's a lot. I would hope that for Queen season 2, it's a totally different round of plots, meaning there isn't too much tied into season 1. Because if you do that, it'll be kind of boring. The only things that I think would carry over into season 2 that were from season 1 is the Bree situation. How long is she gonna be away? Does Eve want to come back to the show? I don't know, because you got to think about, she has a new baby, and it's highly likely that she's going to focus on that time. She's a new mom. And does she really want to have a rigorous schedule, hypothetically speaking, and her child, is 1 year old at that time? Does she really want to do that? And you have to think where she lives. I think she lives in London. Her and her husband and her stepchildren live in London. So it's just, that's a lot. So I don't know what they're going to do for season 2, but I hope it's not too much that's pulled into season 2. They have a lot to work with. They have Jojo and her continuing on. Will she do rap and school? Because remember that deal that Naomi said, hey, I'll pay for your schooling and you can learn about music as you go. So that's something that they're going to add, that I guess. And also Eric taking that back seat, Jill having a managerial kind of role, Val and her tour, some drama with that, and possibly Thomas. Those are my guesses. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to this family-friendly channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any posts. And check out the HBO's original mini-series. It's a mystery series from a novel, The Girl Before. Check that out. Check out episode 1 and all of the rest of them. Tell me how you like it, your guesses for the mystery series, and how you think it's going to play out. And also check out the lineup. There's so much more. We also have Live Therapy with AJ Johnson, which is a TV1 original series. There's so much to see on this channel. I'll list below some show links in the pinned comments, and maybe in the description. I don't know, wherever I have room to put it. And make sure that you check that out. Some things to binge watch, because we have a lot of shows that are starting again. The new seasons. We have Atlanta that's on FX. We have Wu-Tang and American Saga. Season 3 is starting soon. Handmaid's Tale is starting this summer. So binge watch a lot of those shows so you can catch up. This is a limited commercial channel. If anything, I know everybody wants to make their coin on YouTube, but my main goal is to have a very comfortable viewer experience. I can't stand all them dang on commercials, so I try to keep it as limited as possible. I try to edit at the beginning and at the end so it won't be annoying, because I can't stand watching the video and I'm like, how many commercials are they going to put in here? So let me know what you think. Check our pin comment shows, and also there's several more starting. Inventing Anna's coming up. It's just a lot. I'm busy this month. February, March, and April are going to be crazy. But check those out. Meantime, in between time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye.